What is going on out there, world? It's your boy Tommy on the spot for Watchalong Wrestling. Hopefully everyone is doing well and staying safe. Today is Monday, June 20th. Is it 20th? 21st. Obviously, We're a bit early, but I hope everyone is doing well. Shout out to all of the dads out there for Father's Day weekend, and hopefully you guys are enjoying your Father's Day week and kicking things off with a little bit of Tough Enough. Today we're going to watch Tough Enough Season 1, Episode 2. Last week we kicked things off here with Episode 1 of Season 1. And so we're going to get to a watch-along of Episode 2 of Season 1, rather. And I'm excited to go ahead and do that. On the other line with me is my main man, Steve. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Just catching up on some sleep and a couple of other things after our trip from New York. So
that's right. You're fresh off of your trip to New York. Did you guys have a good time?
Yeah, we had a great time. It was just enough where we got to do and see everything. Do everything that we wanted to do, see everybody that we want to see. Do all that kind of stuff. But then also kind of remind ourselves why we moved back down to Florida. No offense.
Yeah, no, it's been very humid here. It's been very hot. Yesterday was a stifling 95. I was with my daughter at the park, and both of us were sweating bullets. So it's very it was good. But I was glad we were able to see you guys a couple of times while you were there. Yeah, we started things off with a little bit of Japanese food right in Long Island City at Shi. We were able to get food right out by the water. It was one of these things where we got there and they told us they had no reservation. It was like an hour and a half wait.
Yeah, it was like an hour and a half wait, or we could sit outside. And there were like tables available. So we were like, yeah, outside.
Exactly. And we went there and it was a little bit chilly, which is, of course, typical New York. A little chilly last Friday, yesterday, stifling 95, humid, and the worst feeling of your entire life. But we did that. That was great. That was on Friday. And then obviously on Sunday, we ended up going over to go see the Met game, went to Mets Padres at Citi Field. And this is your first Met game and your first baseball game live in a couple of years, right?
Yeah, I can't even honestly remember I'm sure the last game that I went to was another Met game, but I can't even remember how long ago that must have been.
Yeah, no, for me, I had gone to one other Met game. Well, two, because it was a doubleheader and these ridiculous 7-inning games. But I went to a couple of those earlier this year, but it was before they had full capacity. And so it's only people in the entire stadium spread out. It felt like it was like, oh, great, we're so glad to be back in the game. But also it felt a little like maybe we shouldn't be, because if they have such few people here, it's still a little uneasy to see that.
Right. But then also, I mean, kind of like we said when we were there last Sunday, it was like, this is like when we would go 10 years ago when, the Mets were perennially in last place. And it's like, yeah, this feels right.
Right. Well, it was nice to see people back there. And now they are at full capacity. Last week, I think they were at about, we went maybe 70% capacity or something like that.
That's, the kind of the way it felt, at least. I would say somewhere between half to maybe 2/3 full.
Yeah. And I mean, it was, it was a great time. I've been on an absolute baseball high ever since we went, probably because, we're not actually Met fans. So I guess, Mets lost that game. Certainly was cheering for the Mets, but you even had a nice Mets shirt that you'd gotten prior to the game. But I think for me, it was just a lot of fun to be there. And of course, the big moment, we were sitting out in the outfield, like field level, but in the outfield. And their bases were loaded for the Padres. Tatis Jr. comes up. Mets actually had the lead. I think this was in the 7th inning. And he just cranks a grand slam. And it's like crack of the bat. And literally, if your wife had not gone to the bathroom or I think went to go get a drink, if she wasn't online to get a drink, this would have pegged her. Like it literally was above the seat that was right next to you. And it was insane to see. I don't think I've ever quite noticed how absolutely hard the ball is coming into the stadium. I mean, it felt miles an hour. It was insane.
So fast. It was like that. We heard the back crack and we saw everybody standing up, and then I had just enough time to think, wow, that ball is coming really fast. And then, like, as I'm thinking that, thunk right behind us, like crazy.
Absolutely nuts. And then it bounces up and ends up going directly behind where we were, like a couple rows behind. Lady catches the ball. She's all excited. She's in her Met shirt, so I'm assuming she's a Met fan. But as it turns out, her son was there with her, little son, probably about 5-6 years old, and he had a Tatis Jr. Shirt on. So she gives the ball to him, and I just couldn't stop thinking about what an amazing moment this must have been for him to sit there to be able to get the ball of his favorite player. And and of course the faithful at Citi Field screaming at him, throw the ball back. The kid starts crying. But obviously he keeps the ball. I think Citi Field calmed down a little after that.
Yeah.
But what a moment that's going to be probably for the rest of this kid's life. That his favorite baseball player, and he ends up catching the ball. His mom ends up getting the ball. Mom's a hero for life. He'll remember this moment forever. One of the most exciting young players in the game in Fernando Tatis Jr. And honestly, if I had seen the kid net behind me and I was able to catch that ball, I probably would have threw it right in my pocket and not handed it to him and then put it on eBay like this. Cause not kidding. I would have kept the ball. I've only caught one in my entire life, and it was at our friend Toby's bachelor party, which is Citi Field spring training. Somebody hit like a line drive, and I picked my hand up to grab it and caught it barehanded, and it ended up, I didn't realize the kid was right behind me with his mitt trying to catch it. And I did try to give it to the kid, but the father said, we have season passes here. He has 1 million balls. You keep it.
Right.
Totally. But yeah, and that one, my hand was throbbing like insane. So, definitely when you go to these games, be on the lookout, because you never know if this is actually going to happen.
Yeah, and it was funny because I was even thinking when we had first sat down to these seats, wow, these are good seats. Maybe we'll actually be able to catch something. And then sure enough, comes right by us. But there was no way that we were going to be able to catch that barehanded without breaking something.
Yeah, we were. Right where we were sitting was right where the T-shirt launches were. During the 7th inning, they would do the Mets T-shirt launch, and folks section were catching the T-shirts. So it was a lot of fun. It was great to go, and a really, really nice experience to get out to the game. And again, ever since, I feel like I've watched all these Mets-Nats games this weekend, and have been itching to get back. So it was a really good time, even from the start of pre-gaming and knocking back a couple of Trulies over at Amanda's mom's house, and then walking back afterwards from the game all the way back home. So it was probably about a 3 or 4 mile walk.
It's about 3. Yeah, it's almost exactly a 5K. So it's about 3.1 miles, I think, something like that.
Not bad. So it was a lot of fun, and I was glad that we were able to do that. Did you do anything else fun on your trip home?
We saw my cousins, and we did a lot more walking.
Well, I remember you guys, but we have a place called Pesos Italian Ices out here. You guys were there?
Yeah, we did that. We actually walked from Flushing to Astoria also, which was about 7 miles. So we did a bunch of walking.
All right, yeah. Well, hey, you know what? At the end of the day, you got to get to the place you're getting anyway. So why not be able to kill 2 birds with 1 stone and get a workout in?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So very cool. Well, it was glad we were able to see each other. We hadn't seen each other really since 2019, at least in person. Where the whole pandemic had occurred. My wife was pregnant. And I had gone in. If you actually go to the archives, you can see a vlog from when I went to go visit Steve at the end of 2019. 2 different vlogs. The first one was in October of 2019 when we went to go see NXT. This is right when NXT came over to the USA Network. And then the following month, I returned. I had gotten a new job. I had a little bit of time to kill, and I heard that the WWE was bringing a WrestleMania ticket on sale party for WrestleMania 36. So I went to that. We also spent a couple days going over to, I think we did Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, Hollywood Studios in Disney Springs.
Yeah. So we had a couple days there. Well, it was to do some stuff. They had just started unveiling all the Disney Christmas stuff, which was great. And then I went to the WrestleMania 36 on sale ticket party, which is the vlog is in the archives. And little did we know there would be no WrestleMania 36 for anyone to attend.
Yeah, how crazy is that?
It's absolutely nuts, and it's crazy that there's so many people that were at this party. It's probably nothing. It was one of these things where forever it was one of the events that was WWE always made it seem like the coolest event of all time on Raw or SmackDown. They play a 2-minute clip from the party, and every time wow, that looks just amazing. Like, I need to get to one of these parties sometime. And when they were doing it here in New York, it got rained out for inclement weather. So I went down there to the one in Florida, and it was probably a nice time. I mean, I met a couple of the legends that were there, but definitely not something that is as nice as WWE built it up to be. But probably playing 2 minutes of it and not several hours of it.
I think that's one of those things that both WWE and Disney have in common, is that they're really great at hyping up even the most mediocre of events.
Right.
And it's like, it could be anything from that to, you know, like a whatever, but it's, you know, it's the best thing ever because you have to go.
Right. That's so true. But we were able to do that, and glad we were able to see each other again and go to the game. And I thought I had a great time. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too.
Well, as we get over here to Tough Enough, I'm excited because we had agreed today, you know, and again, full transparency, it is Sunday morning here at around 7:30, 8 o'clock. We try to do these before my daughter wakes up. And we had agreed to meet at 7:30. My alarm went off, and I was like, oh my God, like, I'm the most tired I've ever been. How am I going to get up and do this? And then I look over at the alarm, and it was 5 a.m.
Oh, nice.
Able to go to sleep for 2.5 more hours, which is like the greatest feeling in the entire world. I was like, I don't even know what I'm going to do with this 2.5 hours. I'm going to sleep. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, sleep. Exactly. Yeah.
It was a great to get back to sleep. So, as we get into the show here, Steve, any thoughts that you had? Any feedback you had last week?
No, I think I forgot that it was a switch from like the 45-minute episode to the 20-something minute episode. So I was like, oh, how are they gonna, you know, what are we gonna watch today? But then I think today is probably gonna be, if I remember, just like kind of like an introduction to like the trainers and stuff. Right. Maybe learn how to take a bump, and then I don't know what else we have in store.
Yeah, no, it should be really cool, and I'm excited to go ahead and get to that and get to the show here. I will let you guys know that this particular, yeah, as you said, I mean, I think this is really the contestants have now moved into this big house, and so this would be, I think, more of the that more reality show aspect of things, seeing them getting to that Trax training center for the first time, and so I'm excited to go ahead and get to the show. So let's go ahead and we'll get started there. I mean, I think last week, just you know, my feedback on it, I thought it was a lot of fun, just to kind of go back and revisit the times and you know, remember, you know, a couple things. Number one, WWF New York. At some point, I will need to go ahead and maybe we'll do a little more on WWF New York if folks want to hear some of my thoughts, more thoughts on that. What I'd also like to do, what I also thought was really cool was the remembering how great Chyna was and what a big star she was at the time. That she's right, and with some of the, you know, you had your Hardys who were like your up and comers, but then on top of that you had, you know, Triple H, Undertaker, and Chyna's right there. And so I know there was a documentary put out, I heard this week, that I'm probably not going to watch because I think it's you know, a lot of the you know, bad parts, some of the more challenging, hard parts of Chyna's life that they kind of have on display there. But I think remembering what a great big star she was and what a transcendent star she was for WWE really kind of jumped out at me while we were watching that show. I mean, WWF New York, they showed that, and you had the huge If They Only Knew Chyna book. That's true. So that was really neat. I thought that was really cool. So excited to jump in here. And are you all set? Are you at your 3-0, Steve?
Yep, I'm ready.
All right. I think you have to just wiggle your little thing there because I think you're a little dark.
It's probably once the computer screen goes on.
Perfect.
It'll light me up again.
Good. All right. So here we go, guys. We're going to count them down from 5, and then we'll press play. We are at our 3-0s on the Peacock Network. A reminder that both Steve and I do have the commercials added version of Peacock, so you guys can we'll let you know when we hit a commercial break. But here we go in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, and that intro that you had mentioned last week. There's Chris Benoit there running out, hitting Kurt Angle with the I think it was a plancha to the outside.
Kurt Angle's in here a couple of times, getting beat up.
I think mine a little lower. Do you hear mine, or is it good?
No, yours is good.
It's funny because this is the very MTV portion of it where each one of the contestants here is on the phone.
Yeah.
And they've got the home phone in order to...
The corded phone.
Yeah, crazy.
What a relic.
And Chris is already training the other contestants because remember he's trained from Killer Kowalski there. Love Darryl. Darryl's sign of the times. He's got the seashell necklace. He's got the bucket hat.
Yeah, the bucket hat.
The Road Dogg Jesse James original.
Right. The absolutely necessary hot tub scene right from the get-go.
Bobby Joe is enjoying this here. Who said last week she just wants to get into Playboy, and that's why she's there.
Right. Mr. Maven himself.
Now, Maven at the time, before getting into this, was actually, I think, a third grade teacher.
That's right. I remember that.
Yeah.
Think about it now. Something that he and Matt Stryker had in common.
That's right.
Well, Matt Stryker was a high school teacher, but...
It's got to be. So Darryl's already, if I remember Darryl, he was always, sort of complaining a bit and hard to get motivated to work out like some of the rest of the folks there. And here he is, he's sick already.
Yeah, I mean, I like how he says, "Oh, I'm sick," but then he's not going to say, "Oh, but I'm not telling anybody I'm sick, but I'm really sick."
Right, exactly. Wouldn't you not want anyone to know so that they would look down on you?
That's more of a, something where it's like you act fine, and then during the talking head, that's when you go, "Oh, I'm really sick."
Exactly. So John Big Gaborik shows up here in his XFL T-shirt.
Of course.
Pick up the contest, take them over. I do love these types of shots here, which are all the B-roll, which clearly they had a bus or something driving in the next lane and recording them as they're coming in. So this is a warehouse that they converted into a track center in beautiful Stamford, Connecticut. They have everything all set up. And yeah, here you go. So the trainers, Al Snow, Tori, and Jacqueline. And what's cool about this is that the ring is basically a WWE-sized ring. It's not like you got have a little tiny ring. This is legit, what they're wrestling in.
You would think, right? Like they would need to be practicing in the real thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Basically from ground zero. There will be things that we will begin to teach you that at this moment you don't understand. Won't make sense until 3, 4, 5.
Look at Al. He's in incredible shape, man. A guy you never really think. But
my name is Tori. I think this is first and foremost important is that in here not only.
Well, I remember when I met Al Snow at one of the indie shows, he was a lot bigger than I thought he was too.
Well, and that I remember because it was like him and I think D'Lo who were there from WWE, or like former WWE, and both of them looked massive compared to like the rest of the folks who look like Josh Lombarger,
right?
Little kids who look like us hanging out watching the show.
At first, it was unbelievable to think that these are actually 3 superstars that I watch on television on a regular basis.
It has to be a crazy feeling to know that you're in there and these folks that you consider to be larger than life are just in there with you, helping you out with the training and.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, the hardest part about these in-ring workouts always to me was the stretching and everything that comes prior.
Like yoga poses, like what she's doing right now. Yeah.
Yeah, you go through all these different exercises, and then finally get in the ring and start doing that.
And as we go doing this easier and easier, I'll start adding more and more reps.
The WWF scratch logo. So for years, we're probably all blocked out on the network, but I think they must have gotten the rights back to it.
Because you'll end up getting hurt. This will hurt a lot. Keep your chins up, please.
It's showing the contestants how to properly do a back bump.
Right.
As you see, wincing in pain just at the thought of it.
And I think that, I think one of the big draws to this show was them actually pulling back the curtain a little bit to see how exactly wrestling is done. And it was a good thing, because also, like, they were saying, yeah, it might be choreographed and it might be, predetermined, but it doesn't make the actual competition any easier.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. I mean, it really is like, you're falling there on your back, and if you have one thing go wrong, you could be hitting your head on the back of that and not able to get up off the mat.
Right.
It looks like for this poor girl here. Oh, each time she falls, Victoria.
Yeah.
Brutal.
When I can't do things, it's so frustrating.
You'll get it, don't worry, tomorrow we'll all come together. That or you'll be a vegetable.
Brutal. Commercial break. Also saying like either that or you'll be a vegetable. For the girl. Do you also get commercial breaks on yours?
Actually, for some reason, I'm not getting a commercial break right now.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I have a big 1 minute break here, but I completely agree. For me, I remember being like, oh, that's how they do the back bumps, and I kind of alluded to it. I went and got a mattress and would pull it out, and I'd hit the back bump after back bump after back bump. And I remember I tried once to do a front bump, which is you forward roll, you kind of jump up and you pretty much flip, do it, and it was a disaster. And I thought I destroyed my back and destroyed my neck. And I think these guys do this stuff all the damn time. Is
no off season, no nothing, nothing like that. Like,
yeah. And they're going to be coming back here in about 5 seconds. But yeah, Bad Bunny, and I'll just let you guys know we are back. Something Bad Bunny had talked about when they asked him, he was on a LeBron James show. There's old Stamford, Connecticut, WWF headquarters. So this is the official lobby there of where headquarters is. Right now, if you go into headquarters, they've got all the posters. They have all the statues. You even see back then they had the poster. But I did that this fitness center, which is located right after as you walk into the headquarters, is still pretty much exactly the same. It's probably the one thing I'd love to have in our office is like if they had a fitness center, like at work, for you to get there like an hour or two early and get started before you amazing, man. What an absolute perk.
When I used to work at Disney, they had something like that, but it definitely wasn't nearly as huge or as diverse as this one is.
Well, and I think that as the story I think goes is like if you work there, you're able to work out as much as you can and want. But if like a talent shows up, hit the bricks, you better get off the machine and make sure they have whatever they want.
Right. Yeah, of course. But that would be the only reason, that would be one of the main reasons for me to want to go into that, is to see if I could spot somebody or something.
Oh, yeah. Exactly, yeah. Standing there on the treadmill on a 3-speed looking over and watching what they're doing to see, that's a lot of fun. As I thought we were going to another commercial. I was going to say, Peacock, enough. We got back. And Darryl is big into that, his fever that he's got going on here.
Right, milking it like he's trying to miss school or something.
Exactly. Yep. He's got a cold and he's acting like he's just built. I'm sure it sucks, but come on.
Right. And everybody else, you can tell it's just like, all right, enough, dude.
Yeah. It looks like Darryl is not getting down as low. Those squats are some of the hardest things to do. I remember they used to have the story that Benoit would do every time he'd screw up a move in the ring, he'd hit 100 of them after the match.
Yeah.
Every single. Take a step back. And it's funny here because Chris has a couple of months of experience, and they're acting like he is the ring veteran. He's the guy who's helping with everything.
Yeah. Well, because, everybody has to try and separate themselves, right? So he's going to lean on that hard. He's going to lean on that, I know this stuff already, so I'm going to teach everybody else to see how good I am.
Trainer. He's basically a fourth trainer here. He's happy to be there. Tori is coming off her run here, I guess, with Degeneration X. This would be her end of her run here in the company doing this stuff as a Tough Enough trainer. I think she ends up eventually getting hurt. I don't know if they show it, but I remember this being the end of her run. because I think she ends up getting hurt training the students.
I always got her and Ivory confused. So I was looking at her and like, oh, like when did she dye her hair back to like that dark brunette color? And like, oh yeah, right, no, different person. Never mind.
But I think years later, Ivory takes over to make things even more confusing as one of the trainers. Wow, so showing how to properly do a back bump and using Al Snow in order to make sure, like, it basically takes your legs out from underneath you. Have no choice but to fall the correct way. But some of these guys, you know, it hurts. But yeah, getting back to what Bad Bunny said, he said when they asked him, you know, is it fake? He said, no, it's very real. And he said, you're falling on your back. It hurts. And he said after he was doing it, he couldn't believe that guys like Triple H, The Undertaker, have been doing this for 30 years. So,
right.
Victoria looks like she's about to either puke everywhere or just fall on the floor and is continuing to fall on her head.
Yeah, and like that's the thing. Like I think that's one of the things where it's like, you know, you're gonna learn one way or the other that you have to fall right.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's gonna get, you know, some of them you're gonna have to get hurt in order to learn that.
Yeah, you're gonna eventually learn. It's just not the right way to do things. There's Stephanie McMahon.
See, there you go. Like, look at that. She's on the Stairmaster right next to, you know, that could be you.
And honestly, they're probably there quite a bit because their offices are obviously located right there. So
right, exactly.
And Victoria's having a really hard time. That's probably really difficult because if you're doing it the wrong way and it hurts every time, it's hard to become comfortable with it and not overthink things.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll get over it. It's fine. She was so nice about it, and that was like really nice to hear.
Yeah, first couple weeks here, Stephanie McMahon's looking really like a good, really nice human side of Stephanie that we've seen there. This is the front bump, so you've got to basically roll over. And yeah, I remember I tried it once. You can only imagine the disaster that had occurred. Yeah, that's definitely one of those that we're like, hey, if you keep doing it the wrong way, it's gonna, you could be in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
This is what I expect you to do.
Some of them are picking it up real easy. Oh.
Well, because I mean, it also like it goes against kind of you know, you don't want to fall. So I think like it's kind of like to try and trick your body into wanting to fall.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes, this is what I need.
I'm always because obviously I work in Stanford. They go to this place. I'm like, oh, what place is that? I'm actually to see if it's still there. And
right.
They're going out here, and I mean, you got to remember most of these guys are huge, so I'm sure they're eating quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy Jason looks like he's just there for the fame of it as well, and now he's starting to realize that, you know, this is not ballet, as they say.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, you got to wonder, like, because it's doing that self-promoted MTV thing, you know, like, how many of them are there just because it's MTV?
Exactly. As I hit a commercial break here. Are you all at the commercial break?
No, but I can pause it. I don't know why I'm not getting commercial breaks, but I'm not.
Actually, a not commercial break. Maybe you don't. Maybe you have the commercial-free version. Could be.
Maybe.
Yeah, the commercial aspect of things isn't as bad. I do like that at least Peacock is $4.99. I mean, $9.99 wasn't. I think Peacock, the plan I have for the first few months is actually only $2.50. But I'd say that commercial break pales in comparison to the frustration of the live pay-per-views not being able to jump in, you know, at a different time.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
Live has been brutal for me, and it's been one of the real struggles with Peacock thus far. And all right, we are back as they're talking about day 4, and the contestants are all sleeping. But yeah, I think that Oh, and here comes everyone's favorite Taz.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, I remember he wasn't right from the get-go, but I forgot how far into it he shows up.
Mm-hmm. And he's having he's not a happy guy, to say the least.
Taz came busting the door. I went in my bed. I was like, oh, I'm gonna die.
I wonder, like, when they sign the waivers, like, obviously you have to sign a consent of, like, I'm basically being filmed 24/7. Like, how far is that going?
Yeah. Oh, I think it's kind of going everywhere. Like, if these guys, you know, I know on Real World there's been. Oh, it's a Goldberg poster. Rips it off and says, wrong company.
You got gold? I want to work on your cold, big boy.
Ah, lazy.
I will give you the same amount of respect you give me. If you have a question, it better be a good one. Because if it's a stupid one,
I wish this is how I could, you know, act toward my direct reports, just like Taz. Be the same time.
Can you imagine if you ask me a question, it better be a good one.
Wow.
Imagine if I did that to my students. Like,
Exactly. If you don't believe in God, start. The Nature Center over at the Stanford Museum and Nature Center. And I was wondering why they were all dressed in white outfits.
Yeah, this is why.
But that is funny. The guy had a Goldberg poster. It's almost like that had to be a plant. Like they were
Right? Yeah.
What was he? If not, what was the guy thinking? And Goldberg, of all people, who.
Or like an NWO poster, that would have been good too.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a edit there because they were all sitting there in pristine. Oh, so yeah, so this exclusive footage. So the version of Tough Enough that is on the WWE Network or now on Peacock is actually the version of Tough Enough that was on the DVDs that were released.
Oh, okay.
So the extra exclusive footage is included in each one of the episodes. So that is, kind of an interesting piece there.
What? Garbage.
Trying to show here is how to maybe change of scenery there, doing the bless you, doing the bumps in the mud and everything.
Yeah.
Mud everywhere on them, in their ears.
And I feel like this is like that. This is the kind of Rocky training. Like that old school, beating aside a meat type of thing. Like getting down and dirty.
Yeah. Darryl is having a hard time already. It looks like so far Jason is right there with, even though he is, there for looks like kind of more of that bodybuilder celebrity status that, or he does seem like he's right there with, it's right below Chris is one of the front runners here early.
Right.
Paulina, it looks like she's in a lot of pain.
Yeah. Something happened with her knee.
Jammed up her knee.
Yeah.
Really tall. It's hard. That's when those types of pains start to sneak in.
Only for tall people, though. Short people don't have to deal with that.
I don't think they have to deal with it as much as us tall folks do, because you're.
It's fair.
Part of your body there, and you've got to make sure each part of your body is built up, or it can really hurt.
Yeah. You got like Taz with that low center of gravity, not too much.
Oh boy, and she's already being carried out here.
Yeah.
This competition. Oh, that's got to be tough. You're sitting there and you're watching this. You're trying to learn this stuff, and you see somebody get screwed up and hurt.
Yeah, and Taz is probably over there thinking, if that would have happened to me in the ring, that's it, I'm done. Like, we don't have health insurance or any of that shit. So.
True. Very, very true. They still don't, which is crazy. The independent contractor status.
Keep those fingernails short. So cut them down tonight or something like that.
You look important. The idea that these guys are all banged up and cut up, and Taz like couldn't care less. He's just
Right.
still...
Yeah. I mean, but you know, like I feel like that you kind of the whole point is that you need to be tough, right? Can you be tough enough? So you need the tough wrestlers.
Yeah, I think they're trying to. You're right. I think they're trying to weed out the people who maybe don't think this company is them. And now at the end of all this, they've now got to run back right along the side of the road to the training. It's tough. But yeah, I think you're 100% right. It's like before they really get into the ins and outs of the cool aspects of this and meeting some of the wrestlers, things, it's like
you kind of need to. Yeah, they need to be broken down before they can build them back up. You know, it's almost like they're joining the army or something. Like
yeah, you're 100% right. That's exactly what Taz is saying here. It's like you want to be a star. There's so much that you need to go through before you even get that chance. Oh man,
he's itching for it. Like,
yeah, it's like when they decided to figure out, hey, who can we have do this? Who's going to be the least sympathetic of every person on the roster? Oh, right. I got Taz.
Right, and also who you know who's on our shit list right now for botching that thing with Kurt Angle? Like,
well, that's the thing. It's like, remember the people who did Tough Enough? It's like, oh, Darryl is throwing a tantrum here,
right?
Of all this, but yeah, I mean, they had to take basically these guys off TV for a few months, so they couldn't have like The Rock doing this or.
Right. Yeah. No, you're not gonna have.
I think one of the things that was interesting for me was seeing, Jacqueline and seeing Tori and different folks that you wouldn't necessarily, you wouldn't see have Billy Long matches on WWE TV, and you're watching them here. It's like, if they were around today with the Divas, the Women's Revolution, and women now having matches, great matches on TV, they would have gotten better opportunities to do so.
It's true, yeah.
Oh man, banged up. Hey, but he's just a wrestling fan. This guy. Yes, he had the Goldberg poster, but he's also got the Kurt Angle shirt. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah. So, or was it like, listen, dude, we need you to wear like a wrestling T-shirt. Just pick something.
Exactly. Probably. He's probably not even a fan. Probably just knows Goldberg because Goldberg at the time was like right there with Austin as like your big star. He has like
the old WWE magazines.
My daughter comes over and says good morning to everyone here and knocks something down. That is already it. Look at that. I didn't even know that it kind of came out of nowhere there. But yeah, good episode of the show. Great job in kind of establishing everything here. And how do you feel about things as we get to the third episode, which will be next week here on Watchalong Wrestling?
I'm really enjoying this look back, and I appreciate the fact that the only thing that I remember from it is who actually comes out on top.
Right.
I know like the last three, because I'm thinking Darryl, probably isn't going to last long considering how, beat up he already is. And I feel like he's the least motivated, but that could also be, I feel like maybe putting on a show. So, where he's like, look how rough of a time I'm having it, but I'm still going to pull it out, type of thing.
100%. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I couldn't tell you. Obviously, I know that Maeve and Nydia win this thing, and I could probably figure out folks that are there towards the end. But other than that, it's a complete refresh on the show, and one of the things that I've really enjoyed about it. And so it's been fun to kind of go back and rewatch these, and looking forward to next week and checking out some of the pieces of it. There are little bits and pieces I remember. One of my favorites is the old Triple H appearance. I think he makes it. folks.
Yeah. That I think Mick Foley comes up too at some point.
Yeah.
So
I think right. So looking forward to seeing these guys, while they're in their prime and be able to see them on the show. So let us know if you guys have any feedback on the show. Again, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, anyone who's celebrating. Steve, happy Father's Day to you. I know you've got beautiful Stella at home.
yeah, our fur baby, and happy Father's Day to you as well, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It should be hopefully a fun day. I'll let you guys know here how it is, or I'll put up a photo over at Watchalong Tommy. Actually, because I did not turn off the episode here and don't have this, next week is indeed to give you guys a little preview, is indeed the infamous Triple H appearance on Tough Enough.
All right, cool.
Look forward to. So, but that is going to do it here today. Steve, anything you want to say or touch on here before we get on out of here?
Not really, no. I'm just excited to keep watching.
Sounds good. Glad we were able to reminisce and talk about your trip here to New York, and I'm glad you had a very fun visit, and we will connect next week. You can follow Steve on Twitter. Is it at SteveCJ556?
Yes, it is.
You can follow me on Twitter at WatchalongTommy, and until next time, everybody, make sure you leave a big thumbs up and subscribe, and we will catch you guys right here on Watchalong Wrestling for Tough Enough Season 1, Episode 3.